A few days ago I started looking into this, and I'll try and get the address. I'll stay there for a minute so you may be able to read it, write it down or whatever. It's randomnerdtutorials.com/ESP32 LoRa Sensor Web Server /. And it's quite a nice little project. It uses two of these, what do you call them? I don't know. Boards. Let's just call them boards, shall we? They're actually called ESP32 LoRa sensor boards, right? Now, one of them uses this little BME820, which is a Bosch board. Well, it actually uses a Bosch chip, which provides temperature, humidity, and pressure. Unfortunately, my one here wasn't compatible with the one that they were using in this project. So for the time being, all I've done is comment out the failed connection. So that's why if you see on this screen, you can see temperature 0, humidity 0, pressure 0, and the number of times it transmits this information. And we're up to 74, and it transmits this information every 10 seconds. Of course, it's nothing much really going on because it's 0, 0, 0, but it still allowed me to get the project working. And it's quite a long drawn process. Let me back off a bit so I can scroll down. You should go watch this video if you can actually understand the guy's quite heavy accent. But that's the basic essence of it here, look. You've got one card as the sender, and it reads that chip that gives you the temperature, humidity, pressure, and so on, transmits it over the high power, in essence, I guess, a Wi-Fi signal. I'm not quite sure what definition it is, but they say it can go up to about 2 kilometers, which is quite amazing, to be picked up by the receiver. The receiver also has a web server built into its spiffs, what they call it. It's a memory area of the chip, so that you can use your mobile phone or cell phone to display the information. In my particular case, because I didn't want to flatten the battery on my phone, I've just logged onto it using standard I think Google Chrome, I guess. And as you can see, everything's 0 because the thing isn't broadcasting anything good. So, why did it take me 2 days to get this thing to work? Question I've been asking myself for a while. Let's scroll down a bit, and there's a lot to go. Excuse me, there's a lot going on. The biggest issue I had, well, other than the fact that the BME280 I had was not compatible with the BME280 library they used in their code, so I just commented out the failure. And here's the big one. Simple wiring. Ground, 3.3 volts. And SDA and SCL. Even here, look. There you go, look. SCL GPIO 13, SDA GPIO pin 21. Looks easy, right? Wrong. GPIO 13 or SCL is nowhere near that position. If you look at my board, top right, the orangey wire, that's the SDA, and indeed it is GPIO 21. SCL couldn't be bloody further away, could it really? It's actually here and not next door to SDA. Now that took me a while. I eventually found a pin out of this particular board and traced it back and found out that indeed SCL, serial clock I think it is, was way over here, nowhere near where they said. So that was issue 2, and that took me a while. Then there was a let me move the mouse out of that box. There was an area that I could not get to work, and that was loading the HTML code onto this board into, I guess they call it spliffs. I can't remember it now. Serial SP, whatever. You can Google it. But once I'd figured out how to load the file system manager, which wasn't that difficult. Let me see if I can change hands and open it. Here's the code. As usual, there's my header file here that contains my Wi-Fi access name and password. But to click on Tools, what I needed was this. ESP32 sketch data upload. Once I'd figured out how to install that on the appropriate place on my computer, so it actually displayed on the IDE, it worked fine. And everything was happy. But that again took me an awful lot of time and effort. So even though this is just one little board with a USB powering it and an aerial or antenna, it does have a lot going on. Let me see if I can find the file structure. Where did I put that? Bear with me. I can't remember what it was called now. Maybe it was this one. Yeah, here we go, look. So you have to have a file structure. Once you've you put your code in this folder, right? It doesn't have to be that name, of course, but and in that folder you have to have a data folder, the actual code for the Arduino, and in my case the header file including my password and SID to my internal network. Now within data you'll see there's an HTML and a JPEG. The HTML actually is the web server, basically, and the JPEG is just that picture in the background there, that's all. and the information is passed from the Arduino code running on the board itself, and it passes data to the HTML, which has now been loaded onto here. Now the changes I made, just because I guess, let me find my code again. Here we are, here's the code. Originally the string for, let me zoom in a bit here. The string you get back from the NTP server is year, month, date, T separator, and the time. Right? Well, I don't want it displayed like that. It's not a format I'm used to. I want it day, month, year. So I added this little extra bit of code in here to reformat the date. So it says now date / month / year, and then make that the timestamp, because the timestamp is the one that gets sent over here where it says 5th of December 2019. So that was fun. Eventually, I guess the biggest deal was getting the code to load into the spiffs. Probably have no idea what spiffs mean, and quite frankly neither do I. I did read it earlier today, but if you go to, oh dear, I've just loaded it again. Never mind. Should be alright, I hope. So it's actually loading the HTML code onto the board again. And it seems to be quite happy over it, because it's now reinitializing the display and hopefully sending the data. Not yet, it has to wait up to 10 seconds. And there it is, just got a packet. You see the date isn't formatted correctly yet, but the hours are. Within 10 seconds the date will format correctly, and there we go. Interesting project. The thing, I've already stolen some of the code from it, because it had this wonderful date and time and NTP server access and the code to do that, that I stole that code and added it to my itty bitty digital clock. So now I've got time and date. I think the next thing I want to try and find out is how to get the day. I don't know if that's possible, but I'll look into it. Because that's good, except for I always forget what day it is. Still, comes with age, I guess. So there it is. I mean, it's a really cool project, but it was quite a challenge to get all these libraries loaded. And you definitely need to go to his, let me see if I can scroll to the top. You definitely need to go to this place to get the information. There's a few links to previous blogs he's done, showing how to use spiffs and how to load spiffs, and so definitely a good read and a fun little project. Okay, bye.